first step would be for everybody to care about other people and not about themselves only.
People should respect each other, not dependent with the color, the gender.
We must avoid all this confrontation, you know.
The fact that we're all humans is what unites us.
But I think you start to think of yourself more as a person from the planet.
The task of the media is to help society find a common language and communicate.
I think friendship and being nice to each other can unite everyone.
I want to live in a society where the people are very conscious, so they make conscious decisions.
Work for the sake of society, for the sake of love, for the sake of connection.
I see that all people want two things: love and respect.
A compassionate society, a society that understands that your needs are, validated.
What unites us is being in relationship with each other.
It's about humanizing the human society.
Everybody has to be informed in a proper way.
Let's support each other. Let's help each other, no matter what another person may have.
In the creative society, human life will be of highest value, and the best human qualities will prevail.
Hello, dear friends, and welcome to ALLATRA TV Ireland. Within the framework of Project Creative Society, we continue meeting interesting people from all over the world to get to know how do they envision the society where everybody on Earth feels safe and lives fulfilled life. And today we are very happy to introduce you our guest who joined us all the way from Sweden. Please help me welcome Dr. Annika Sörensen, medical doctor, speaker, author, stress management coach. Hello, dear Dr. Annika. How are you today?
Hi there. I'm fine, thank you. So it's very nice to be here.
Thank you. Also, I want to introduce you my today's co-host, Lil Selena Johnson, who was our guest on one of the previous live conversations. Hello, dear Lilwan.
Hi there. Hi, Alina. Hi, Annika.
Hi, Selena.
So I'm going to start by just sharing a little bit about actually how Dr. Annika and myself met. So it's some time ago now, but it was in a far distant place from where we are today with COVID restrictions. We were in Bali. In a beautiful, beautiful place, actually gone to look at an area of our life that we wanted to improve. And that was speaking in public and getting our message out to the world, because, we'd never met each other before, but the process of coming together there, we were actually linked with two gentlemen called John and Vincent from a company they actually run called Wealth Dragons. But actually what they do is really empower people to get their message out, to change society, which is perfect really for, what we're discussing here today. And, that trip that when I met you, Dr. Annika, was like, we were just sharing a little bit before we started to go live here about the human connection. And it doesn't really matter where you met or how you met or how long ago. It's that heart connection. And that's what I believe, that's what I noticed, what's what I felt when I connected with you, Annika, was the love, the deep love you have for people and your passion and your adventurous nature to step out of the the main frame and actually be really bold and brave and go against the grain and develop yourself as a speaker and a leader to support people. And really moves me. I want to cry even thinking about it. And it's just, really special. So, that's the introduction from me.
Thank you so much for your kind words. It was very special. It was really very special. And I totally agree. When you get connected with some people, it's a connection for forever. It doesn't matter if it's 5 or 10 or 15 years in between. You just start where you ended the last time.
Thank you. So great to see you both and feel this connection between you, and it's kind of make me connect with you. And it's such a great feeling of happiness and love and friendship. Dr. Annika, would you like to add something about yourself, what we didn't mention? What inspires you in life? What drives you? Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I am a medical doctor, as you said. Been working in the primary health care most of my life. And there you see stress, and you meet a lot of people, and you meet people from all ages, all genders, all colors, all beliefs, all everything. It's just everybody comes to the primary care. And I tried actually to go out and be more specific. I tried to work in places where you are just looking at one part of the people, but I couldn't stay there because I always saw the whole person. So that's what I've been doing. And some years ago, I realized that it's too much for me with my family and full-time job, and stress is just too much. Got too much. So I started to learn about stress management, and especially in the workplaces. I've taken courses and extra outside my medical knowledge, and then I put that all together to primarily help people to not become patients. So that's my prime goal today: stress management to help you stay healthy. I think that's the short version.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what I can hear a little bit there, Annika, is a prevention then. So you've moved from, being somebody who the patient might be seeing with something wrong with them and they're looking for a solution or a help with that, to somebody who's actually preventing them in the first place from becoming poorly.
Yeah, that's where I want to be. I still work as a doctor every now and then, so to keep track of what's going on and how to keep my knowledge about things. But I do prefer to. I see so much the need of prevention when I see the patients in the healthcare clinic, that if that to a patient sitting there, because that's not what you're supposed to do as a doctor. You help them to manage wherever they are. But I can see that if I have had the chance, I would have made people's lives less ill. I'm not saying that I can make everybody's life better, but I can help them to be aware of what they can do for themselves. So that's that insight, when I started to be overwhelmed by myself, that was the game changer in my brain to change my focus. And then you're not supposed to work with prevention primarily when you're a doctor in the healthcare system. You're supposed to work with people that do have a need for a doctor to help them become well again. And that's the dilemma for me when I work in the healthcare clinic, that I start talking about to people with things to prevent, and my visits, the visits from the patients will be too long, and I will be constantly late in my schedule. So it's but I can feel it very,
Sorry, Alina, can I jump in there? Just that point there. I think that what I hear as well, Annika, is then there's this sort of professional or a perspective to stand from being a medical practitioner, where it's been seen a certain way, and there's a bit of a rigidity there, a bit of a rigid structure, and you know, you're now moving away really into a different way of working with people. And I'm just curious about education, educating people then as well. You've taken on that role really with the stress element from your learning and training.
Yeah, I'm very conscious about still working within my license, because I do not want to lose my license. And I still believe in traditional medicine as a whole. I mean, we have made so much progress and saved so many lives with all the medical stuff that has come out in the last 100 or 150 years. I would not want to go back to what they did in 1800 or early 1900. But I think we kind of lost track of taking care of our own biology in this world that is 24/7 of everything. And it's so easy. We are made for the society, or for the life that was 200,000 years ago when we were on the savannah, and you know, our bodies still work the same. And if we put ourselves as that person in this 24/7 society where there is food everywhere and all over, and the light is on all the time, and we can watch videos or movies or whatever, and we don't respect the biology that we are bringing with us from that old time, because we have not changed. We will not change within the next 200,000 years, because that's how slow it is. The basic biology changes. We can learn a lot, and we have learned a lot, but I mean, we cannot change. We need to have our sleep, and we need to have good food in a normal amount, at regular, and the mind thrives. And if you constantly work against that, as we do in our everyday world, and I mean, I am perfectly aware of that. I cannot change anybody. Everyone has to change themselves. I can only try to help people understand that this is the easiest and best way to thrive.
Thank you for that. And you can inspire other people for changes by your own example, and it's so important. So
Yeah.
what can help us to reduce stress in our life? Just changing lifestyle.
Time for rejuvenation, to go back to your normal level. And if you do that at a regular basis every day, you know, you take your breaks and you really just get off whatever you're doing. Do something else. You don't have to go to bed or lie down, or you just do something else, something that inspires you, so that your brain cells will jump a little. So if you do that at a regular basis, then that's the best. If you don't do it, then you have to take long times of rejuvenation afterwards, like a week or a month, or maybe years if you walk all the way into the wall. Because if you get into the stress wall, then your body is going to need some real rest afterwards. And most people, I've actually never met anybody who liked being overwhelmed and stressed out and getting into that wall. I've never met anybody who liked that life, because then you have to adjust and you never come back to exactly who you were. And sometimes that's a good thing, because the one that you were before were the one that got you into the wall. So you want to be someone who is avoiding that stress wall. And the other thing, so rejuvenation is the basic. The other thing that can help us, at least in the short run, is accepting things as they are. Because if we get annoyed at things that are not in line with what we want, then the stress hormones will raise and they will stay on that high level. If we accept this is how it is, I do not like it, but it's okay, then you are better off. And right now in the Corona times, we are really in that time where we need to use that method. I can do nothing about the situation out there. I can do something about my own situation. So just accept this is how it is. Do your best for what you can do.
I choose my reaction.
What do you say?
I can choose my reactions to the situation.
Yeah. Exactly. And exactly, it's up to you how you're gonna feel and do, and you cannot change anybody else. You can only change yourself. You can't say that enough many times.
Beautiful, and you brought in, this world pandemic and the global situation currently, and with a lot of people, I guess these are the trigger points that potentially with uncertainty for people in their lives and individuals and groups of peoples and businesses, organizations, and lots of different things. So the people that you described earlier a little bit, who could go to the cinema, who are very free, really, find themselves first time ever not able to access the things that they would normally be able to access. So there's a shift or a change in everything. So I'm curious, if I was one of those people, well, I am one of those people, clearly, but if I was one who was, concerned about something, how would I know I'm stressed? How would I physically, what were the sort of symptoms that I'd be showing, if you like? Is there a template? Is there sort of an idea you could give us?
The best as a whole thing is that you change. Other people see that you change. You don't always feel it yourself, but you change. You get grumpier, you make more faults, you scream at people, and you usually don't scream at people. You you cannot sleep at night, or you sleep too much. More than it's different from before. You just eat or you don't eat. It can be either way, but it's some kind of internal, something internal that drives you to do stuff one or the other way, and you can never. I mean, nobody could say before who is going to act which way. There's no clue in your life before, so I couldn't say that I would react in exactly that way, or that anybody else would react in exactly that way. But and then also, if you are stressed, your immune system is affected, so you get more easily colds and infections. And in this time, it is actually that way, and that is a bad or a sad thing, because right now we do not want to have any symptoms of colds and that kind of stuff, even if it's just an ordinary cold, right? We don't want that. So it's yeah, exactly. And what more do we do? Yeah, we make more faults, so we have to do things over and over again, and becomes a downward spiral with all these things that don't work for you. And it's, like I said, it's very hard to see in your own life. It's much easier to see on the people around you that they start to change.
Hidden a little bit, right? I suppose, because it's not always obvious then that you're suffering in some way, and human suffering is different, but you know, that they're not aware. So it's because there's two ways of their suffering, but also the person in the relationship or in the family dynamic, or, you know, owning that, then having the guts, if you like, or the, you know, you know, for somebody to challenge that person can be quite a struggle, to say, you know, you are stressed, you know, there must be, you know, yeah, exactly, yeah, it's yeah. But you know, I'm also hearing the impact of, you know, on a physical level on your body. It's quite it's a serious thing, right? It's not
go up and stay up, and don't go back to the rejuvenation every now and then. Then, especially with the cortisol that is part of this, it affects your cardiovascular system. It affects your diabetic system, so you easier get diabetes. You get obesity is one part, heart attacks, strokes, all these things that we absolutely don't want can be a side effect or an end effect, or whatever you would call it, on being stressed for a long time. So you really do want to get your stress hormone levels down. And then the mental part of it is then burnout, or
you know, that's also natural to feel something is not normal, is it? So they're having to adjust to this new way of operating and concerns and whatever. But you know, I'm just clear that, you know, your vision and the work that you're doing is educating people, so you're more likely to accept that, oh, my stress is high, that's what's going on, I'm stressed right now, noticing something.
Yeah, exactly, to be aware of the symptoms and take action. So I mean, nothing is going to happen until you are aware of it. The insight and then the mindset that you actually do want to change. Those are the two starting points that you have to have before anything can happen. And if you don't have the insight and don't want to change, nothing is going to change. It's going to be the same. Like the rules that everyone knows, that if you keep on doing things the same way, you're going to get the same result. I mean, that's how it is.
Brilliant. Dr. Annika, we know that you are not only working with, in your opinion, how important is it to create a nice, friendly atmosphere at work, in families? How to unite people on the basis of something good, something nice?
Yeah, I really, if they understand and start doing things for themselves so that they feel better, it is going to be contagious in the leadership groups, and it's going to dribble down in the organization, and that I actually help that person with, because that person is going to get the ripples out, and that you help, and maybe their families, but it's not going to dribble up in an organization. I've never seen things like that do dribble up in an organization. It has to go the other way. And the other part that I also want to work with is the work groups that these leaders have, because the company grow too. So it's not just about one person, the leader. It's about the whole group. You have to infiltrate in the whole group to get real change, and real change in those places will give so much better revenue and, you know, everything. And they do a better job with their clients. So it's a win-win-win in all directions.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I have another question for you. You know, it's common situation, unfortunately, nowadays, that from many sources we hear how everything is bad in our country, in the world, in people. And that's why we decided to create a platform, ALLATRA TV, to talk with people about how everything is good or how it can be and how we can change the situation. And I want to ask you as a professional, what role do our thoughts and our words play in the formation of our life?
I am not sure I really understood the question.
How important is it to change our mindset and to be conscious of what we are saying?
Okay.
And
I would say that changing our mindset and seeing the big picture, that's key. If you don't do that, you're going to live in your own little bubble, and it's not going to spread to anybody else. And we have, sorry, I'm just going to, we have a tendency to be afraid of what's outside our sphere. So if we are in the bubble, we want to stay there because it feels safe. But to make a good world for us ourselves and for everybody else, we need to pinch that bubble so that it breaks and step out of it and be curious about what's out there and not to judge it, but to just observe, and this is how it is. And every world, and I will try to save it, and that is not gonna benefit anyone else but me. So understanding it and having the mindset of a global world for all of us, that's key.
I hear that, and I hear, you know, the global society and the way that human beings remain, you know, healthy and well and everything, you know, is key to us getting out of that, or being curious, at least as you describe, of what it's like for other people and you know, get an empathic understanding or a compassion towards others. So if we were to look at your role as a medical doctor, you know, in this creative society and moving in your perfect vision of that area, how, you know, if you were training the doctors in the world right now, right, from your perspective, how would you see that? How would you see that working? Well, how would you work with them?
If I was going to train the other doctors,
yeah,
it would be a hard task. But I would, if I would want to do anything with other doctors or help making the medicine world or the doctor's world better, I would say you have to listen to what the patient really is saying. What do they need? Because we take too much for granted because they called the nurse and said that they have an arm that's hurting or they have a whatever that's hurting. And I get the notice before I meet the patient, and I know it's the arm or whatever. And then I'm biased to begin with, because if I go into the conversation and see it's the arm, then I'm going to ask for the arm, and as soon as that's done, it's done. And sometimes, in most cases, it is the arm or whatever. But in some cases, there are other things that you really can help people with, or you can help them in a broader sense. So I always start when I work as a doctor, I always go into the room and I say, how can I help you? And I have so many colleagues that told me that you cannot ask that, because then anything could come out. And I say, yeah, well, that's the point. I want anything to come out, because if it's not the arm, it's the heart, the soul. I want to know that to start with, not when they are leaving. I want to know it to begin with, because then we can discuss that, and I can ask in a sentence somewhere in the end of the call, and what was about the arm? And probably that was just the sign to get in, to get a call, to get a meeting. So if I was to teach others or help others to understand, is to really be open to what are they saying, what is the need, because it's not always what's on the paper or what they say to begin with. And if you can do that, you can help so many more people in just one meeting, rather than they having to shop around until they meet somebody who asks them what they really want. Because I've seen these patients, they shop around until they find somebody who dares to ask. And you can really do big things with very little means.
It's beautiful, Dr. Annika. It's stunning, isn't it, Alina? What you've just described,
Absolutely.
and it's stunning. Yeah. And it's so simple when you put it that way, but it's so, I suppose
it is so simple. That's the thing. And also I've met so many patients where I ask them the question, how can I help you? Or why are you here? And they just talk and talk and talk, and I just say something, encouraging or helping them to understand they are on the right way or whatever. And then after 10 minutes or so, they say, oh, thank you so much, doctor. Oh, you were such a great help. And I had done absolutely nothing. And it's fascinating, because then they go out and tell the nurses what a good doctor I was with. And, what?
I know, but
it's
beautiful.
So easy.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. Because you're talking about human connection, isn't it? Which is why we're here, really, on the planet, really.
What I know, I just have to show them that I understand.
Oh, so nice, thank you. And it is very contagious, when you see somebody who help other people with such honest desire to help, with all his or her care and love. You want yourself to help others, because you feel that it is something that will make you happy. Dr. Annika, yeah.
It's always so much easier if you are open-minded, and if you are on the, what do you call it, the bright side, when you give a smile. I mean, I've been talking to so many people, clients or patients, and when they talk about tough things, I mean, sometimes we actually do talk about death and things around that, and people think that you have to be very, very solemn, or you cannot do, but you can actually smile, you can make jokes if they are in a kind way. You have to do things so that people see that you are doing it from your heart. But it can actually be fun to have a discussion with someone about tough things. It doesn't have to be like you are in the grave already.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to distract one's attention from their troubles to something nice.
And as a, if we could to put this together, so to say, it's all about hearing, about listening, about being in the moment, so that people feel that you are actually there for them at that moment. That's what it's all about.
Brilliant.
And I've seen too many that are not in that sense, but of course there are tons of doctors out there that are beautiful doctors. I mean, most doctors do want to do good.
Dr. Annika, and how do you see creative society? Can you describe the society where you, your family, friends, and everyone will live happily?
I would say a society where people believe good in other people, and that we can talk to people and just say ordinary things, and other people don't have a back. What do you say in English? Where they don't have some other agenda in what they're doing. Being real, not being false. That's what I'm saying. Where if we just be kind, I am a great believer in the thought of paying it forward, so that if I have a chance to do good, I do good, even if I cannot get anything back from that situation. But I will get something good back somewhere else in life. And if everyone works from that perspective, we would have a very much more helpful society. Paying it forward is, I think that's a great idea. I was so happy when I first saw that movie many years ago, because that kind of set the tone in my head, so to speak, in things. When you do stuff for people, it's okay, just do it. If I can do it and it's going to help somebody, yeah, it's not going to hurt anybody if I do it that way. And I have a very hard time, and maybe it's because I'm a doctor, or partly because of what I've been through earlier in my life, for people who are hurting other people, and I mean physically hurting other people. I just can't believe how you can do that.
Definitely not from the state of happiness.
No, definitely not. And at the same time, I see and understand that some people have had really bad lives, and really situations where their brain is brainwashed with tragedy and disasters, and they have no other role model to act from. And everyone does somewhere from their own best. I think we are all always doing what we think is best for ourselves. And if I am taught that I have to do bad stuff for others to be able to exist, people do that because that's how our brain works. So we need to brainwash our young ones with good thoughts, because it's contagious. The good thoughts are contagious and the bad thoughts are contagious. And so we need to spread the good thoughts.
That's beautiful. And that really draws to the part of the interview where I was wanting to ask you what you'd like to say to the viewers on what message you had for them, and brainwashing them with good thoughts. I thought you probably answered that.
Yeah. Yeah, because you attract what you think of, and it's some years ago I would maybe say that this is kind of a Vovo's thing, but today we actually know that's how the brain works. We get what we focus on, so we better focus on good stuff. And it's not about trying to move away from something, because if you think of what you're moving away from, then you're still thinking of what you don't want. So you want to go forward, and same with it, paying forward, go forward, look forward, and be open.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for some. Sorry, I'm just. You made me speechless. Thank you for such an inspiring conversation. If you know somebody who inspires you, who is socially active and has progressive ideas of how to make our world happier, we will be grateful for recommendations. And we also would like to remind our viewers, if you want to join our project, you can go to ALLATRA Unite's website and click Join Us button. Yeah, here you can see red button. And maybe next time we can see you as a guest or as a host or maybe technical support. So please feel free to join Creative Society project.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Annika and Lilvan. It was very heartwarming and inspiring. And thank you all our viewers who were with us today. Have a great day.
Brilliant.